Today is Tuesday, July 28th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are going to continue Chapter 2, There's a Solution. We'll read the second half of page 17. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 3. We'll read the second half of page 39. And of course, we'll read NA's Just for Today and Al-Anon's Courage to Change. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this beautiful Tuesday morning. Life is good over here. Back to work for me. It's been a great summer, but it's finally back to work. And you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited for a whole new year. This is year 16 in the classroom. Or excuse me, no, this is year 17 in the classroom. I'm getting old. And you know, what an opportunity to be of service. So I'm excited to get back after it and to practice these principles in all my affairs today. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading out of the Big Book, Chapter 2, There's a Solution, we have been talking about how we're normally people that would not mix in these fellowships because there's so many different backgrounds and personalities. And they use the analogy of a shipwreck, talking about how those who survive the shipwreck have this bond, no matter, if you were in the steerage or at the captain's table, no matter the status. So it's kind of inferring that, they share the common peril, a common problem, which we as alcoholics certainly do. But we also share something else. So we're going to read one short paragraph today. This is the bottom of page 17. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out on which we can absolutely agree, and upon which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. And for the last couple of days, we've been talking about dependence and how, in this case, it can lead to freedom. And we used a demonstration yesterday of this person who was able to willpower his way through a lot of the personal defects. But what about the ones that he can't seem to get rid of? It says, and how shall he ever straighten out that awful jam that cost him the affection of his family and separated him from them? His lone courage and unaided will cannot do it. Surely he must now depend upon somebody or something else. So we are going to finish page 39. At first, that somebody is likely to be his closest AA friend. He relies upon the assurance that his many troubles, now made more acute because he cannot use alcohol to kill the pain, can be solved too. Of course, the sponsor points out that our friend's life is still unmanageable even though he's sober. That after all, only a bare start on AA's program has been made. More sobriety brought about by the admission of alcoholism and by the attendance at a few meetings is very good indeed, but it is bound to be a far cry from permanent sobriety and a contented, useful life. That is where the remaining steps of the AA program come in. Nothing short of continuous action upon these as a way of life can bring about the much desired result. NA Just for Today, July 28th. Secrets and Intimacy. We feared that if we ever revealed ourselves as we were, we would surely be rejected. Basic text, page 32. Having relationships without barriers, ones in which we can be entirely open with our feelings, is something many of us desire. At the same time, the possibility of such intimacy causes us much more fear than almost any other situation in life. If we examine what frightens us, we'll usually find that we are attempting to hide an aspect of our personalities that we are ashamed of. an aspect we sometimes haven't even admitted to ourselves. We don't want others to know of our insecurities, our pain, or our neediness, so we simply refuse to expose them. We may imagine that if no one knows about our imperfections, those imperfections will cease to exist. This is the point where our relationships stop. Anyone who enters our lives will not get past the point at which our secrets begin. To maintain intimacy in a relationship, it is essential that we acknowledge our defects and accept them. When we do, the fortress of denial, erected to keep things hidden, will come crashing down, enabling us to build up our relationship with others. Just for today, I have opportunities to share my inner self. I will take advantage of those opportunities and draw close to those I love. Courage to Change, July 28th. A stonecutter may strike a rock 99 times with no apparent effect, not even a crack on the surface. Yet with the 100th blow, the rock splits in two. It was not the final blow that did the trick, but all that had gone before. The same is true of Al-Anon recovery. Perhaps I'm working on accepting that alcoholism is a disease, or learning to detach, or struggling with self-pity. I may pursue a goal for months without obvious results and become convinced that I'm wasting my time. But if I continue going to meetings, sharing about my struggle, taking it one day at a time, and being patient with myself, I may awaken to find that I have changed, seemingly overnight. Suddenly I have the acceptance, detachment, or the serenity I've been seeking. The results may have revealed themselves abruptly, but I know that all the months of faith and hard work made the changes possible. Today's reminder: we are often reminded to keep coming back. Today I'll remember that this not only applies to meetings, but to learning the new attitudes and behavior that are the long-term benefits of Al-Anon recovery. I may not see the results today, but I can trust that I am making progress. Quote from Youth and the Alcoholic Parent: try to be patient with yourself and your family. It took a long time for the disease of alcoholism to affect each and every one, and it may take a long time for everyone to recover. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading, and beautiful stuff. I love, the NA and the Al-Anon reading today. Oh, it's great. Talking about, for instance, like the Al-Anon reading, the results may have revealed themselves abruptly, but I know that all those months of faith and hard work made the changes possible. You know what it really reminds me of is, I was a slow learner in certain things as a kid. And I'm pretty sure I've told this story before. I used to have some difficulties spelling. And I'll never forget, in second grade, my mom, she'd be getting ready for work. And she knew that I'd have a spelling test every Friday. And she would make me write down words as long as I had to write them down before I got it. And I'm telling you, there were certain words that for some reason my brain just didn't seem to get it. And my mom would make me write it down over and over. And I remember one specific word, around. I don't know why. As a kid, in second grade or first grade, whatever it was, I could not get that word. And, I must have copied the word almost 50 to 100 times. And then finally, when my mom would quiz me on the words, I finally got it. It wasn't the 49th or 50th time. I think it was just the rhythm of doing it over and over again, the repetition. It finally stuck. And that's been very similar to me in sobriety and work in the program. Now, I'll be honest with you. I still struggle with intrusive thoughts, stuff I did years ago. I can still dream about them, or wake up tossing and turning in the bed thinking about the things I've done. These old habits, they die hard. But the beautiful thing is, I know now that I've done the work. I'm forgiven by my higher power. I'm learning to forgive myself. And I'm doing everything in my power to make those direct or indirect amends, to make sure that doesn't happen again. But I have to repeatedly remind myself of these things, because if I don't, it's like that escalator I've always been told, I'm trudging up this downward escalator. And if I don't work the program, I'm sliding backwards. It's not good for me, that's for sure. But when I keep working the program, I realize, just like this podcast, I realize there's so much more to learn. And a lot of the things that I thought I would struggle with for the rest of my life, like self-hatred and loathing, they drift away. Because yes, okay, I had the intrusive thoughts today, but once my training kicked in today, I got in the garage, I prayed, and then eventually I've done this. I'm okay. I'm at peace, and I've got a smile at 4:52 in the morning. It takes time for me, but at least it works, and I praise my higher power in the program of recovery for that. And as far as NA's reading goes, talk about secrets. That old quote, you're as sick as your secrets, right? And I've learned when you find the right people to be honest with, to be real with, that have my best interests in mind, that I know love me, when I find that person, I can tell them anything, and it's going to be safe, it's going to be confidential, and they might offer a perspective that I never thought of before. And when I confess these things that I'm struggling with, and I get that second opinion, I don't have to carry that anymore. If anything, I let somebody else help me carry it. My experience is like the load's completely gone. I know when I first worked the program, step 5 is where I really felt like, holy cow, this is working. I never thought I could feel free again. That's when I really realized the magic of this program. I mean, there were little slices of heaven along the way, spiritual experiences along the way, but step 5 was like the most profound feeling I think I'd ever had working the program. And that's why, anytime I do something, these intrusive thoughts or whatever, or if I haven't talked to somebody about something that's bothering me, I need to right away, because I know freedom's on the other side of it. But my friends, I've rambled on enough. I hope you all have a great one today. Please know, as always, I don't speak on behalf of NA, AA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I'm just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery, honored to be here another day. And if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.